guest Mohit here, who's from the School for Social Entrepreneurs.
Yep.
So what we're going to do is we're going to try to jump right into it because I know Wong Yong you have to leave at 4. So the format's going to be we're going to have each entrepreneur pitch for about 10 minutes, and then we'll have Mohit, and then we'll also have another guest coming who will be here a little late, ask some Q&A questions, and we'll kind of keep that to about no more than 10 more minutes, and then we'll quickly go to the next entrepreneur. So that'll be the format. All right, so let's get started.
Hello everyone. My name is Sering and I'm the founder of Tongra. So, and I'm here seeking 3 lakh rupees for the investment for my startup. And Tongra is a e-commerce startup to sell Tibetan products made by Tibetans around the world. And this site is not just for the Tibetans only. The site aims at the global market who are interested in buying Tibetan products. So this is me and my co-founder JSIA. So he has done BBM for his bachelor's and he has finished his MBA recently from UK. And about myself, I've studied software engineering for my degree, and currently I'm doing data science and business analytics, masters in data science and business analytics. Right. So the why we need Tongra, the main reason why we need Tongra is the traditional way of doing business and purchasing things are becoming obsolete because of the convenience and the speed of online transaction. So these days we hardly go to a town or somewhere else to buy the things that we need. So instead what we'll do, we'll go on Flipkart or Amazon or eBay and then buy the product that within a few clicks or button. So now look at the Tibetan businesses, how they are doing it. And this is our current status. We are still following the traditional way of doing business, and there is no online existence for these businesses. So now if you wanted to buy a Tibetan product, it is very complicated because there's no online sites or where you can buy these products like easily. So I remember because when I was in first year doing my degree, I discovered this clothing company in Tibet called Rewa. So the Rewa, and I really liked one of their product and I wanted to buy one for myself. So I went online to search and then to try to buy it from online, but there's no site or where I can buy it from. So luckily I have one of my friend later who became my co-founder. He was planning to go to Tibet, and then so I asked him to get the product for me. So now if you wanted to buy a Tibetan product, you have to go through that kind of process, because either you have to have like one of these shops in your local community, or you have to go to India or Nepal or Tibet to get the product. So for that reason I started up Tongra, and we managed to make a deal with a company that I discovered with Rewa, and Rewa is now our first supplier. And Rewa, we have a deal that we are getting 50% commission on per sale on every product. So that's our website. So if you, when I did a little survey in for the Tibetan-owned businesses in Dharamsala and Delhi. So when I talked to them and I asked one question, that who are your major customers? So most of them replied that most of their customers are the Tibetans who are living out of India or the foreigners. So this is the Tongra's business model, And first the customer will order Thongra, and then once the order is confirmed, Thongra will notify the supplier, and then once supplier get that notification, then it will pack the product and then send it to the logistic provider, and then logistic provider will send it to deliver to the customer. So our target customers, the major target customers are the students who are going in a senior high school students, and then the university students. But we have like product for everyone. But those students are our major target customers. And our market size, as I mentioned before, when I did the survey, they were telling me that most of their customers are outside. So their Tibetans are spread all over the world, and as I mentioned before, we are not just targeting the Tibetan people, so we are targeting global. And for the marketing strategy, first we're going to do the digital marketing, and then we've been collecting the mailing list, emails around, and we're going to use the email marketing, and then the social media and word of mouth. So the word of mouth is very powerful in our community, because we are targeting, initially we are targeting our own community to create awareness and get traffic in our site. So as I mentioned before, when those businesses, when I did survey the Tibetan businesses, they don't have any online, they never sold anything online, but most of their customers are outside. So I asked them, how do you get that thing? Like, and then they were telling me it's like through a friend, they know someone, and then that's how they get a order from. So having a Thongra will definitely help them to increase their sales, and then getting more customers. So this is the projected income statement for the first 12 months of operation, and we have targeted revenue of 20,000. It's in USD, so 20,714, and then our operating expenses is $2,700, and then operating profit will be 27,714, and our net profit is 25,691. So this is for the future plan. For the Thongra, we are planning for a data insight consultancy, so that we can help the Tibetan businesses to improve their sales through analyzing the data, and also through the data, and then also we ourselves as a e-commerce, there are so many data, like whether it's a structured data or unstructured data. So we are trying to use that, and also in our community we have so many data which we had never used before. So we are planning to use them, and then try to improve the performance wherever we are working on the domain. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll kind of keep this open to if anyone wants to ask questions. We won't limit it to. We'll keep this informal, and but maybe Modi, you can.
Sure. See, you're the only one from your team here.
Yeah, here only me. Yes.
Can anyone take notes for him? Whatever questions we are asking him would be helpful for him. So anyone can volunteer. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Miss. Can you go back to the financial slide?
Okay.
Because this kind of baffled me. From revenue of 29,000, we make a profit of 25.
Yes.
The cost of goods sold will be only 1323. The gross profit margin is really high, like 95%, and
Right.
the percent margin would be even higher. So just walk me through how are you making profit of $25,691 out of the revenue of that?
Yes. So the one thing is the goods cost of goods sold, because the products that we are selling, we are not making by ourselves, and we don't have any inventory. So for that we don't need to spend anything, and then the cost of goods sold is mainly for the website development, and then the tools that we need, and the security, payment, those things. Yeah.
Okay. I'll keep this on hold.
Yeah. Sure.
But I want to go back to why are you doing this?
The Thongra.
Yeah, why does it matter to you?
For me, first of all, I've been through that problem before, and it's really frustrating sometimes, really, because you need to wait for so long, and then you need to have someone like to get the product. So, and that problem, I don't think it's only for me. So, I think it's the same problem for everyone who is interested in buying Tibetan product, and that's one reason. And then, second of all, the Tibetans, we produce so many good quality products. We have, but then problem is we are lacking in a branding and quality control. So if we have like one place where you can get all the products, and then through that, if you can create a kind of branding and sell all the Tibetans, then they would be like something like, okay, this is Tibetan product, so I'm buying this. So that for that reason, and then that's the second one. The third thing. For the Tibetan business owners, for them, because just because they don't have they don't sell online, their sales is not going at all, because they are just targeting whoever comes there, and then beyond that they are not targeting. So if we have a Tsongra, then it will definitely increase their sales, and if we increase their sales, then the economic the status of our Tibetan community will improve.
So you said a lot of whys, right?
Yeah.
And your stronger whys were coming out later.
Yes.
You said Tibetan product.
Mm-hmm.
When you said Tibetan product, your hands were like this. You
Right.
wanted to exalt power or some kind of pride in it.
Right.
That should be your number one reason.
Yeah, sure.
Not because
Sure.
your problem you're solving of waiting for 2 days for a product.
Right.
Right?
Sure.
Of course, we can go on and on, but
Okay. Thank you.
so when you say Tibetan product, what comes to your mind? I honestly don't know Tibetan products.
Mhm.
Like I know handicrafts and maybe
Mhm.
some pottery something.
Right.
But there's no like a
Yeah.
particular image in my head.
Uh-huh. So yeah, for that, that's one point actually I'm trying to make, because when you say you get this in mind like handicrafts only. So now this company actually they produce really nice products. It's all modern, but then there's a taste of Tibetan is there. The feeling, the exotic kind of feeling is there. So it's kind of fusion. And then I see these products. So it's undiscovered actually by the people. And then it's there. We have really good products, but people don't know about it. And for that reason, yeah. So.
No,
Wh-
these are all modern products,
Yeah.
right? My thinking is if I have to buy a wind-resistant jacket,
Yes.
honestly, I'm not going to buy from Reva. I'm
Mhm.
going to really go to a trusted brand.
Right.
My question then is, what is that you're trying to promote or sell? Is it the Tibetan economy or culture, or is it more of the Tibetan legacy, that handmade products? Go back to that carpet and other stuff you showed. Like, is this what you're selling, or is those wind-resistant jacket you're selling?
So, yeah, we have all these products. We have carpets, we have handicrafts, and then we have even these products also. So the variety, there are many different varieties. Yeah.
So, am I allowed to give suggestions or only questions?
Yeah.
So two things. One is, I think your why shouldn't start with it was my pain point, it was my struggle, I had to wait for 2 days. Right, you had to wait for 2 days, so probably Jeremy has enough patience to wait for a week. So he's fine,
Right.
he won't go there.
Right.
The second thing is, when you said about bringing Tibetan culture in the products to the global market. That's a strong statement.
Right.
Build upon it.
Sure.
Talk about the culture, the history, the heritage.
Mm-hmm.
You need to bring that to the customers in Delhi's and Bombay's and London's of the world, right?
Sure.
So if that's there. But your flip side is that you're also selling this to
Mm-hmm.
the students.
Yeah.
So let's say a Tibetan student studying in Delhi would love to have a wind-resistant jacket made by a Tibetan company. So that's fine as well.
Mm-hmm.
But those are two very different kind of products in two very different markets as well.
Right.
I would love to buy a Tibetan handicraft made carpet or a mat, but if I have to go buy a wind-resistant jacket, I'm not going to buy from here. So I think you'll have to spend some time on figuring this out, splitting it. Your value proposition, your customer segmentation will change for both of them.
Sure. Thank you.
You know, another question was, sorry if I'm hijacking this, feel free to please ask questions as well. Sir, that's why not just sell on Amazon directly or,
Right. Actually, yeah. If we can do that, also we can sell on Amazon, Flipkart, and other big e-commerce companies. But the main reason why we are not doing this is because in Amazon there are millions of products there already. So if you put a Tibetan product like our population, we are very small. So if you just jump into one bigger community, we'll get lost. So it's very hard to discover the products first of all, and then it just mix up over there, and then to get to discover products one by one is very difficult. So if everything is in one place, then it's easier for everyone, and convenience also. No need to go around.
Okay. And sorry, I made a long list of questions, so I'm gonna go on and on for a while. What are you gonna do with 3 lakh rupees?
So
Where will you spend it?
for 3 lakh rupees, first the first phase I'm gonna work on the registration, legal, and then the payment gateway system. We need to set that. We need to set a payment gate system that is that accept like international credit cards. So that one, and then the office utilities, and we need internet and some computers also, and then marketing. Most important thing, marketing, and then advertisements. So yeah, around that.
I see none of this going into real business.
Uh-huh.
It's all the peripheral expenditure you're talking about.
Right.
Having an office space, internet,
Mhm.
website, registration. Like, what amount of money will you spend from the 3 lakh rupees in the business? In building a partnership with Reva, in
Mhm.
actually finding those customers out there in Delhi or Bombay,
Mhm.
in doing a little bit of customer study and research,
Sure.
right?
Right.
So if I'm an investor, I'm not gonna pay you money for, oh, I have to
Just
register and I have
right.
to get an office space.
Mhm.
I'm like, no.
Right.
Work from your bedroom, or work from your
Right.
office's friend,
Right.
friend's office,
Right.
sorry. Right? But I'm not gonna give you money. So think of a very strong, detailed answer.
Mhm.
If
Sure.
you are asking for 3 lakh rupees, you should have a penny by penny,
How
paisa
rate
by
is paid.
paisa detail of where will that money go
Sure.
to the core business and not to the peripheral.
Sure.
Jerry would be happy to give you office space here. Why did you tell me that you get 50% commissions from Reva?
Because the reason, first of all, this is the company that I discovered, and then I really like their product. So I've been trying to reach them, like to contract them if I can buy. That was my thing, and then from there I felt it's very strong to have this kind of e-commerce site for us.
I agree,
Right.
but I'm saying, like, as an investor,
Mhm.
I'm going to say, boss, 50% margin is a very good margin.
Mhm.
Anything above 20-30% is a good one.
Mhm.
And you're telling me directly that you're getting 50%.
Mhm.
I'm going to say bring the prices down.
Mhm.
Or actually, I'm going to say I'm going to only give you 2 lakh rupees or 3 lakh because you have a high margin.
Mhm. Right.
So think of, why would you tell someone that you're getting 50% commission?
Okay.
You don't
Right.
want to give out the trade secrets,
Ah,
do you?
sure. Again.
Not yet, yeah. When you said that globally there's a big market of Tibetan products,
Yes.
do you have any numbers, any data? How do they buy? Where do they buy people from? Let's say a Tibetan community in New York,
Right.
and if they want to get some either Tibetan made products
Mhm.
or Tibetan cultural products or handicrafts, where would they buy? Where would they go?
Like normally, or
Yeah, normally,
Yeah.
how do they go? Or and what's the number?
the normally what they actually, there's no online store for all these things. So normally they go to a physical store if there is any like physical stores around. But when about the numbers, like I looked at in India, and then like I'm studying in Malaysia, so the not only the Tibetans, I've seen some potential customers in Malaysia itself also, the families and the students. So the exact number, like the percentage,
You
and
need a
the
little more data.
right for the customers.
Yeah. Plus, I think you need to fix the geography of your clientele right in the beginning.
Sure.
Amazon didn't start with, oh, I'm gonna be all over the world from day one.
Right.
It decided to be in Seattle, it decided to be only in US and those initial 10 states, and then it is all over the world.
Sure.
So what's your geography target market right now? Is it India? Great.
Right.
Where in India? Delhi? Great. Who are those customers? Students or Tibetan business owners or Tibetan citizens? Where are they living? What kind of clothes are they wearing? What kind of lifestyle do they have? Do they live in Chanakyapuri? Then you want to sell them those handicrafts which are fancy.
Mhm.
Are the students at DU? Then you want to sell them this.
Sure.
So you really have to narrow it down.
Right.
Little
Customers.
more homework.
Sure. Sure.
Sorry, I'm gonna pause for a minute and take a break as well. If there's any questions from.
Just a small suggestion.
Yes.
Too much. Last time what happened? What happens is, e-commerce business. Like in Tibetan, when you talk about Tibetan traditional clothes, there are few Tibetan organizations who wants to start Tibetan e-commerce traditional products. Like FTCI, they try to start kind of e-commerce platform to sell Tibetan traditional products. But I think the major reason they have failed is because of their reliability, in business transactions. So we never mentioned about anything with transactions.
The security.
When you sell products, like payment gateway, how you make all these things.
Yes.
So
Sure. Yeah. One thing about I'm not really sure like why exactly they failed, but then for me, we consider like for the customers' money very important. So what they will do, as we have seen, I think it's here. Yeah. So once the customer will buy from the Tsongra, so what we will do will not just directly send the money to the supplier's bank account. We will keep it, and then once we receive the confirmation from the customer that they received the like the product in a good condition, then only we will like release the money to the supplier's account. So that's our like kind of insurance for them, for the customers, that they will not lose their money. So we have that in one of the strategy. And for the payment gateway, that's the thing we haven't decided yet. We are still doing research for one payment gateway system which can accept all the international credit cards and which also reliable, and all those big companies are also using it. So we are looking for that. Yeah.
What is Songra mean?
Tsongra is a Tibetan word actually. Tsongra is kind of arena where you do business, like
Like a market?
yeah, like a marketplace. Yeah.
So we're at about 20 minutes, so I think that timing went
Yeah,
well.
sure.
That's good. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you. Connectivity is there, 1-2 more points is there, more logic.
Sure.
So you started with your presentation with your team members right in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't wow me. I mean, as an investor or anyone who's seeing, I'm like, I'll get to know the person later on. Tell me about your why, what, and how.
Right. Sure.
The general pattern I saw was you were giving out the details where they were not required. You were skipping the details where they were required.
Mm-hmm.
So when you gave details about internet is changed, whatnot, you spent quite a bit of time. You put up the screenshots of eBay and Amazon. Never do that. Then you're putting me. Then you're forcing the mindset of the audience to actually think about those things.
Mm-hmm.
You want to keep them to focus on you. Remember, there's a horse blinder.
Sure.
He's meant to
Right.
see that way. I'm
Right.
supposed to be only looking at you in Songra.
Sure.
So think of what kind of emotions and questions do you want the audience to go through while they're hearing you out,
Mm-hmm.
and keep your slides according to that.
Sure.
There were a lot of pictures.
Right.
Show me graphics. There was a marketing strategy when you
Mhm.
talked about. That visual didn't make sense at all.
Sure.
Write 4 words. They're fine for me.
Right.
But talk about those 4 words. You talked good stuff, but that picture wasn't making sense. There was no connection.
Right.
So I'm getting confused. Like, okay, is there a next slide? Is there a next slide? And as an audience member, you're always looking for, okay, he's going to give us some more detail or not.
Right.
So, and also be a little more assertive and loud.
Mm. Sure.
You know what you're doing,
Right.
right?
Right.
I don't know this. You're
Right.
the expert here. Would you be able to project it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think a little more practice and
Right. Sure.
good to go.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I haven't started business yet. It's just a business plan I had. So this is Alpha Tours and Travel. Just
No, right.
Alpha Tours and Travel. The name is just.
Sorry, 1 second. Is the mic on?
Hello.
Oh, it's for that. Got it. Okay, got it.
So this Alpha Tours and Travels. My law firm is the sole proprietorship, and I'm the sole proprietor. So my registration office base will be in Balakubi Tibetan settlement. So I want to talk a little bit about the Balakubi settlement. So Balakubi Tibetan settlement is the situated in the Kushalnagar in Kushanagar in the Mysore district, which is in Bangalore. So this is one of the oldest Tibetan settlement in exile in India, which was established in 1960 and has the largest population in India after the Dharamshala. So and there is also a many, 3-4 main high schools established in Tibetan that particular settlement, and we also had a hospital, a modern allopathy and the traditional hospital also. So which shows this is Tibetan settlement is this particular Tibetan settlement is quite advanced as compared to other settlement. So the why I start this is I want to discover target market. The target market is the Tibetan community in South India. Of course, the Balukupi would be based office, and there's also 3 communities nearby Balukupi. We used to come for the religious event in the Balukupi. So the second is Indian localities, and among that my main target would be the pilgrimages and the car passengers and tourists and the Tibetan diasporas living outside of India. So I want to discuss identify some problems regarding the travel services in Tibetan settlement. The first is there is only one travel agent well settled, where the charges are very high, and some of the services they provide from the home, and then mostly the people used to prefer to book the ticketing from the Indian agencies, which is like far from the Tibetan settlement itself. So they charge very high charges, and they used to prefer to book outside of the settlement. And the pilgrimage, every year our people used to visit the holy Buddhism holy places, which is all over India. So the problem they face, there's so far there's no any pilgrimage package operator in particular settlement. So they face a problem regarding the pilgrimage tour, and regarding language barriers, and the Tibetan coming from Tibet itself, they face a language barrier while visiting those holy places. They also face the routing and the hotel booking and the charges, transportation charges also. The third one is there is a quite huge demand regarding the car rental for the outdoor short trips, like going to airport and the hospitals in city. So there is no any commercial setup car rental services. People mainly use their personal cars for the rental, and the price is quite no stability and keeps on fluctuating. So these are the problems that I've seen, and the scope is, of course, the Balukupi Tibetan settlement itself a tourist hub, because the main 3 schools of Buddhism monasteries established in Balukupi. So people used to visit most of the time and during the religion event and festival to see the monasteries. And of course, involving those many tourists, not only the Buddhism, all other from the foreigners and visitors are coming. So of course, this is a lucrative market. The market is quite uncovered. There's no any sufficient well-organized travel agency in that place. So if I talk to competition, as per my survey, there's one travel agency, Mount Kailash Tours, initially set up by the cooperative societies back in 10-15 years back, and they recently 2 years they have passed into the private business. So these are the only tours and travels in the Tibetan settlement for me, and the problem is that the services they provide is very limited. Only the ticketing services and minor things like mobile recharging, which is not that really needed. So and the third one is there's also a home service provider. People used to rely on those people who are booking from home. So these are the competitors, and so I want to also discuss about the key services. My business, I plan to grow my business at different stages at the different time phases. Initially, I'm going to start with the ticketing and reservation services, which includes the flights, railway, buses, and by getting the necessary licensing, the international airlines like IATA and the PATAs. So along with that, I'm also going to work with the pilgrimage tour packages and itinerary mapping. So especially the Buddhism holy places. And the second stage is car rental services. This one I'm going to maybe I'm starting after 1 year, just for the short outdoor trips, not out of the one state, for the airport and airport drop and the hospitals. So I'm going to hire the professional driver and they set up the system, GPS system inside cars. Initially I'm going to start with the 2 cars, and so by getting those standard services, so in order to assure that the safe drive and quickly and time services, this is a major Buddhist place which are not only Tibetan, the Buddhism flower used to visit in India. There is a Rivalsar in Himachal Pradesh, and Bodh Gaya, Sarnath Bodh are in Uttar Pradesh, and Ajanta Ellora in Aurangabad, Maharashtra, and the Nagarjuna Sagar which is in Andhra Pradesh. So this I just want to highlight that. And the Bodh Gaya, which seems like that, the 2 main places. This is Sarnath Varanasi, Ajanta Ellora, which is in Aurangabad, Maharashtra. Nagarjuna, this is in Andhra Pradesh. This is a Rivalsar in Himachal Pradesh. So these are a few important Buddhism holy places. So this is my unique selling point, and I plan to give a concessional rate to certain specific segment of customer. So especially to the disabled and senior citizen, I'm going to give a discount of 50% on the basic commission charges, and the 30% to monks and nuns, and to 20% to the students. It could be on ticketing services or pilgrimage stores, and also the car rental services also. This is my future plan. Maybe after 2 years, I'm going to develop the online portal which allows the online booking. So initially, I'm going to list down the Tibetan-owned transportation services. There's a bus transportation service which run in the 3 major places in Delhi, Dehradun, and Dharamshala, and also the Tibetan-owned hotels. So this is my future plan, that I'm going to maybe I will start with a mobile app which allows the online booking of Tibetan-owned restaurants, hotels, and the transportation services. And later then, as my business grow, I'm going to extend by maybe I involve the Indian hotels also. So these are the 2 transportation services which is owned by Tibetan itself. The Amma and the Snow Region bus run through the 3 major places, Delhi, Dharamshala, and Dehradun. So this I've made the roughly projected trading and profit or loss account for initial 6 months. So you can see the income from client. It involves the service fee, commission, discount receipt. For the first couple of months, I've expected 45,000. So there, you might be wondering, there's a 100% margin of gross profit because as my business is service-based business, there's no any direct cost involved. So I put the 100% margins, and also of course overhead expenses. There's I put out this necessary expenses, rent, rates, and salaries, and the telephone, internet, and the sundry expenses, and depreciation of my fixed assets, and the discount allowed as I've talked about in the USB point. So these are the operating expenses, and the net profit, as you can see, I've divided into 2 months. So just made I've made this for 6 months only, because since I haven't started business. This is a brief working of my working notes behind this income from client. As I've made that just roughly, and the possible ticketing a day, a 3 AC train or maybe flight and economic from Bangalore to the other place, Delhi and Baroda. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. I'll allow someone else to go first.
So why name Alpha?
Actually, Alpha, I have not that knows my final name. I just put the Alpha. Earlier, I have made the Karma Tools in Travel, which has already existed in Tibetan community. So this is not my final company name. I just put alpha. I'm working on the deciding the names.
So,
सेंटर में
अच्छा।
फ्रंट साइड यहाँ आपका लुक में आ जाएगा
before I get into the business part, I noticed something. The map of India was not correct. POK and Sky Chain were not showing. That's not a politically correct map. Just be careful about that if you're
Which one?
presenting. Yeah, do you see the top Kashmir part?
Yes, yes.
A Sky Chain, which is side
This is
occupied
loaded.
Kashmir, and POK, which is
Yes,
Pakistan.
yes.
Right? It's missing. So if someone's a nationalist in the room, they're gonna. Let's be honest. I'm being very honest. I don't approve of it, but I'm not gonna go on about it. Just be really careful who's your audience. Yeah. So I was a little confused in the beginning, and then later on I got a bit clarity. I thought you were more of a tours and travel kind of developing packages
Yes.
for anyone who's going to Tibetan area, right? But then as you went on, I understood you're running like a more of a tour travel operator agency
Yes,
in
yes.
Bangalore area.
Yes, yes.
So, okay, that changes a lot of things. I'll start with the biggest thing you talked about, USP, your unique selling proposition, being discount. Discount can't be your USP.
Concessional fare.
20-50% discount. I
Ne-
mean, bigger players who have been there for years can actually give up better discounts to monks and the nuns, and they'll wipe you out within a month. They have those deep pockets. How is discount your USP?
Actually, made the concessional fare because there isn't that kind of features in that particular area. So since there's only one travel agency, so they don't give any discounts. So I think this is a good point for to grow up my business by pulling up many as clients as
So
possible.
who would be your customer? Tell me, describe the customer to me.
Customer, there's people settling, Tibetan people, communities in India, the South India itself, and the Indian localities. Especially during the festival, even the people used to visit the Balikobi to see the monasteries and the sites. It could be foreigners and visitors.
Okay, so I'll pause you right there. So you are living in Bangalore. I'm saying let's just imagine living in Bangalore, and Jeremy is running a big fancy tour and travel company. E-Pocket's been there for 20 years, right? And then this young gentleman from the Tibetan community is also running it. He's giving you a 20% discount, but he's giving you a 50% discount. You need to counter him. Which one will you go with? 50%, right? There you go. He can afford to take that 50% risk because he's been doing business for 50 years. He didn't even question for a second, because of the Tibetan community, I'm going to come to you because from the same community or same region. Your unique selling proposition is gone.
I think it will work because since there's only one competitors. They just started 2 years back.
I didn't say others.
Yes.
Only one competitor can actually take you out.
Yes.
So think about what is that you're offering as a service. You said a great word saying that it's going to be my service. But how will your service be different from any other person doing the same business? He will also book that Air India ticket, you will also book that Air India ticket. He will give a better discount, you will give a little less discount. He will buy it from the person who's giving more discount. And the margins and the commissions by the day are getting smaller. There's no pie. In commission business, people are living on crumbs. For you to make that much money, you need to have thousands of reservations to make that pie out of crumbs. So think of the USP in terms of how will your service be different. Right? There might be that you might be placed in the community. There might be a reason that you're actually leveraging your network. I think you said in the beginning that the community is really tight knit. Maybe you can leverage that. But then, with Tibetans alone be the customers, I don't think so. That would be very easy. You will need customers who are non-Tibetans as well. I'm living in Bangalore and Indiranagar. I actually want to book it from you, but you're not giving me any discount. You're only giving discount to Tibetans. Then I'm going to go to him. He's giving me 10% discount. Think about that. And in the customers, you said car passengers.
those who are willing to go in the cars for short outdoor trips. This I put the
Uber,
special
Ola
mention.
everywhere. Ola
No,
rentals.
it's not available in our settlement.
Outside?
Not available in our settlement. Uber and Ola.
Sorry, are you talking about Bangalore car services or? The
Yes,
people-
from the Tibetan settlement itself, the people would, prefer to go in car for the maybe towards still airport and hospitals in Bangalore or Mysore.
Okay.
So it could be single trip or
But that's what I'm talking about in Bangalore and Mysore.
The- I'm targeting the Tibetan community at the first. It's like
Again, let's say he's a Tibetan person living in that community.
Yes, yes.
He can press a button and Ola rental will come.
Yeah.
It will take him to Mysore, to a hospital, wherever he wants to go.
yes, yes.
Come back the same
Yeah,
day.
I was just mentioning about the inside the Tibetan community. Because right now Ola, Uber, and in the major city it's cold.
Yes, yes.
But in terms of Tibetan, still has several. It's really remote away from city.
No, but he talked about Bangalore. Sorry, I'm a bit confused.
Not Bangalore. It's in Bangalore.
From the settlement out.
Yeah,
Like even from here, you can't get it on the
Yeah.
out.
Oh, got it. That way. Settlement. So it would be more like a pick and drop
Yes,
kind
yes.
of a service.
Yes.
Okay.
Outdoor trips.
So, fair enough, you'll build on that, but when you said customer segment, a car passenger can't be your customer segment. Who's in that car? It could be a 10-year-old, it could be a 75-year-old, it could be from a person from low income background, it could be a person from high income background, male, female, what kind of food, clothing habits. You really have to describe that person. So when you're thinking of a customer, you actually have to get into their head.
Yes, yes.
You have to imagine their lives. Where are they spending that money? And once you know where are they spending that money, how to make that money go from there into your own pocket. That's how you'll figure out the customer segmentation. So think
Okay,
about that a bit. I'm glad you mentioned competition. You did fair bit of understanding here, and with the other two you mentioned and I think that's really strong. I think one overall comment is there has to be refinement in what are you offering. I was getting confused in, is it happening in Bangalore, is it happening there, who's your customer, who's not, and then one of the things which if I am an investor, which will bother me for sure is you use the word maybe a lot. A lot. I think 7 to 8 times. which
Okay.
is, yeah, a big amount of time in terms of, especially when I was saying maybe I will do this, maybe I will do that. As an investor, that doesn't evoke any confidence at all.
Okay.
So think about that. I know it might be a filler word. I remember during my education I used to use the word like a lot as a filler. Could be your filler, but you got to be really careful.
Okay.
And then can you go to the financial slide? So profit before tax is 23,400. You're paying no tax,
Yes.
and then net profit increases by 1,000 rupees, 24,400.
Yeah, just lessening the total operating expenses from the gross profit. It comes net profit. This go. Maybe I misfigure. Sorry.
No, I didn't draw this down, right? But that's the
Oh, sorry.
So yeah, no, just numbers be really careful
Oh,
as well.
Sorry.
An investor, for him or her, the numbers are running right here. I'm not that good at math, but I would have, if I'm an investor, I would have done all the calculations right there in the end and said ki there's a mismatch of 1 rupees. For me, it was a straight 1 digit, so it was easy to catch. But good stuff. I think what you need to focus on, that community to community selling. If you are able to build that trust and brand, that would be a good starter. But discounts alone will get you there.
Okay.
That's a fact. It all comes down to money. Everyone wants to save money, and you are here to make money. So you'll let's say if he was paying 20% discount and you go paying 15%, then he would have probably gone with you only 5%. But he's from my community, the money is going back into my community. But with 10% and 30%, then that's a big number. So think about that a bit.
Okay.
So that's all I have.
All right.
So do you have any questions?
No, that's it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.